Welcome to the Language Year, Comprehensible Input for Learners.
Hi, everyone.
We know how it can be finding those big chunks of time for, say, foreign films, or maybe tackling a whole novel in another language.
Yeah, it often feels impossible when life's already so packed, doesn't it?
Exactly. So, that's really why we're here. We want to bring you these short bursts of language, stuff you can actually understand.
Designed to fit right into your day.
Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea that's pretty central to how we all pick up languages.
Right. Comprehensible input.
Yeah.
And, think of it like this. It's language that you can mostly follow, even if there are maybe a few words or phrases you don't quite know yet.
Like that sweet spot.
Exactly. That sweet spot where you're getting the main message and sort of naturally absorbing the language itself as you go.
Right. So this isn't about, endless grammar drills
No,
or feeling this pressure to speak perfectly right from day one.
definitely not. It's more about tapping into your brain's, its natural ability to learn.
Kind of like how you learned your first language.
Right.
Just by hearing it all around you, understand what people were saying.
Precisely. And for anyone juggling a busy schedule, the real win here, I think, is just how efficient this approach can be.
Efficient how?
Well, you're getting language skills in a way that feels more intuitive, you know, without that feeling of being totally overwhelmed by too much information all at once.
Okay, yeah. It's about focusing on understanding first.
Understanding first and letting the rest sort of follow naturally from that.
Okay, so let's dig into this foundation a bit more. This whole idea of comprehensible input. It really got traction thanks to Dr. Stephen Krashen, the linguist.
That's right. He really emphasized that we truly acquire language, that's the word he used, by understanding messages, understanding what we hear and read.
And he made a big distinction there, didn't he, between acquisition and learning.
A really key distinction. Acquisition for him was that subconscious process. Like you hear a phrase used naturally in context and it just kind of clicks. It sticks with you. You didn't actively try to memorize it.
Okay, so that's acquisition. And learning.
Learning is more conscious. It's knowing the rules, like studying grammar points explicitly.
Gotcha. And Krashen argued that acquisition, that subconscious bit, is really what drives fluency.
Yeah, that was his core argument.
Yeah.
It's not just about knowing the rule intellectually, but about developing that intuitive feel for the language. That's what acquisition gives you.
Interesting. And that connects to his I+1 idea, right?
Exactly. The I represents your current level, and the +1 is that input that's just a tiny bit beyond where you are now.
So not totally overwhelming, but still challenging.
Precisely. It needs to be understandable enough that you get the gist, but with enough new stuff in there to push you forward, to help you grow gradually, like expanding your comfort zone bit by bit.
Okay. Now, when we think about getting this kind of understandable input, listening and reading seem like the obvious go-tos.
They really are key. I mean, think about first language acquisition again. We all did a ton of listening before we started speaking coherently.
Sure.
And when you listen without that pressure, the pressure to respond right now or perfectly, it can really lower your anxiety.
That makes sense. Less stress.
Yeah, what Krashen called the affective filter. When that filter is down, when you're relaxed, curious, not worried about mistakes, your brain is just much more open to taking in the new language.
And there's research backing this up, isn't there, like vocabulary growth?
Absolutely. Studies do suggest that vocabulary acquisition can be more efficient through these input-based methods like reading or listening compared to just, say, memorizing word lists out of context.
Right, because you're seeing or hearing the word used.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is that some research indicates that lots of listening and reading can actually be more effective for building overall comprehension and fluency than focusing only on grammar instruction.
So it's about that immersion in meaningful communication.
Yes. And vocabulary tends to stick better when you encounter it in those meaningful contexts, right? Not just as an isolated item on a flashcard.
Definitely. You remember the situation, the story.
Right. And this is where things like, like our show or other podcasts or maybe videos with subtitles can be super helpful.
The multimodal thing, using eyes and ears.
Yeah, that combination can really boost understanding for a lot of people.
So let's talk practicalities. How does comprehensible input actually look in, say, a learning environment?
Well, take young learners, for example. There are these listen and do activities. You hear an instruction, you do the action. They've shown really significant vocabulary gains with that.
Okay. Simple but effective.
And what's neat is that these input-focused tasks can often lead to richer language use later on, compared to methods that push kids to speak before they're really ready.
That's a good point. Pushing for output too early might actually get in the way sometimes.
Again, yeah. Then you've got things like extensive reading programs.
Where you just read a lot.
A lot of stuff that you find interesting and crucially that you can mostly understand. The results there are pretty strong, big improvements in vocabulary, reading skills, and overall fluency.
So finding books or articles at the right level is key.
Definitely. And like we mentioned, audiovisual stuff, especially with subtitles, that seems really good for learning how words actually sound and for improving listening comprehension.
Faster learning with subtitles, you said.
Some studies show faster acquisition of vocabulary knowledge, yeah, compared to more traditional methods, and frequency matters too.
Frequency.
How often you encounter a new word within that understandable input. The more often you meet it in context, the stronger the link, the more likely you are to acquire it. Repetition in meaningful ways.
Makes sense. I think I read something about just reading storybooks aloud to young English learners.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially if you pause and maybe explain a tricky word here and there, that really boosts their word learning.
And what about for more advanced learners? Reading complex texts.
Even there, things like glosses, little definitions provided right in the text, either in your first language or the target language, they can improve immediate understanding and recall.
Like having a little built-in dictionary.
Kind of, yeah. And some research even suggests that combining those glosses, maybe multiple choice ones, with chances to then use the word, that can lead to deeper, longer-lasting learning.
So input first, then maybe a little output or active processing.
Exactly. That cycle seems quite effective.
Okay, this all sounds great, but thinking about the language ear specifically, is this approach really for everyone, like absolute beginners, advanced folks?
That's a really fair question.
Yeah.
And I'd say yes, definitely. The beauty of focusing on comprehensible input is its adaptability.
How so for beginner?
Well, if you're just starting, our goal here is to give you that gentle, understandable exposure, help you build that foundation gradually without throwing super complex grammar or really fast native speech at you right away.
Okay, building confidence. And for intermediate or advanced learners, how does just listening still help?
For them, it's more about refinement. Consistent exposure to rich, natural language helps you pick up on the nuances, the subtleties, the different ways things are said. It helps develop that intuitive grasp and smooths out your fluency.
Right, getting more native-like.
And understanding the culture better, too.
And what if someone's not even aiming for fluency, maybe just curious?
That's a great reason, too. Just listening, enjoying the sounds and rhythms of another language. It can be incredibly enriching. It keeps your mind sharp, opens you up to different cultures, even if you're not actively trying to memorize everything.
So what makes the language ear, different? Why not just listen to any random audio?
Good point. It's about the intention behind it. The language ear is specifically designed to provide that rich, contextualized input through natural-sounding conversations. Each deep dive aims to immerse you in authentic-ish linguistic situations.
So you get the words, but also the context.
And the cultural nuances, the shades of meaning. Plus, we offer support materials.
Right, the transcripts and vocabulary list.
Exactly. Detailed transcripts so you can follow along or check things. Key vocabulary and phrases highlighted, clear explanations, actionable takeaways sometimes.
And cultural notes, too.
Yeah, to give you that deeper understanding. It's all designed to scaffold that listening experience.
And I think a huge part of it is making the content itself interesting, right? Not just dry exercise.
Oh, absolutely crucial. We know from research, when you're genuinely engaged and enjoying what you're listening to, you pay better attention.
And remember more.
Exactly. Your brain's just more receptive when you're interested. It's not a chore. It's something you want to listen to.
And we use the AI-enhanced hosts, which helps keep the speech clear and natural, right? Maximizing that comprehensibility.
That's the idea, making the whole process as smooth and effective as we can. And it's not just about language either.
Right, we cover different topics.
Yeah, culture, tech, history, science, whatever comes up in our sources. So you're learning the language, but also broadening your general knowledge. Two birds, one stone, kind of.
So if someone's listening now, maybe on the fence about trying this approach, what's the takeaway?
I'd say just embrace the natural rhythm of it. With the language ear, there's no pressure, no judgment.
Just listen.
Just listen, absorb what you can, and trust that you will grow in your understanding over time. It's a process.
So whether you're a total beginner or you're looking to polish your skills, today's a good day to start.
Definitely. Every little bit of listening counts.
It's a step towards feeling more confident with the language, getting richer cultural insights, and just personal growth, really.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.